My son, pay attention to what I am about to tell you. Since the beginning of time, from the moment I shaped creation with my own hands, I have walked beside you. Even before you took your first breath, before the mountains were formed, before the stars shone in the firmament, I knew your name. My love for you has no beginning and no end, because I am He who is, He who always has been and always will be. I formed you with a purpose. I designed your existence with tenderness and with intentions of peace. But also, from the very beginning, something has tried to lead my children away from the path of truth. Have you ever wondered why you so often feel torn between what is right and what seems easier? Why do so many decisions in your life feel like a battle between good and evil? Do not think that this is something new. Do not think that it is something that only happens to you. Since the earliest days of humanity, there has been a voice whispering doubts, distorting the truth, trying to draw my children away from me. Remember, my child, what happened in the garden. The world was still young. Creation vibrated with purity and beauty. I had prepared everything for man and woman to live in fullness, without fear, without pain, without confusion. I gave them freedom, and with that freedom I also gave them a choice. Because true love is only possible when there is a choice, and I wanted to be loved not by imposition, but because the hearts of my children would recognize my goodness and my light. Then, when the serpent came, it did not force Eve. It did not shout or demand. It only whispered with cunning, with words wrapped in deception, making it seem like there was something more, something I had denied them. Did God really say? The serpent questioned, and so, with a single doubt planted, Eve's heart weakened. She saw, she desired, and she chose. My child, this still happens today. The enemy's strategy has not changed. He does not shout, he does not force. Instead, he whispers. He infiltrates your doubts, hides in your weaknesses, and makes it seem as though I am denying you something good. He makes my laws appear burdensome, as if following my ways means losing something. He offers shortcuts, empty promises, paths that seem easier, faster, more pleasurable. But believe me, he cannot give you anything that truly satisfies your soul. He only distorts what I created, making what leads to death seem beautiful and desirable. And today, my child, in your reality, it remains the same. The world is filled with voices trying to pull you away from me. Have you noticed how day by day more and more values are being distorted? How what was once considered wrong is now celebrated? How what is pure and holy is now ridiculed? The deception continues. The same serpent still whispers, disguised in new forms, using new words, but always with the same objective, to draw you away from my heart. But listen, my beloved, you will always have a choice, just as Eve had, just as Adam had, just as all who came before you had. Evil can never take you by force. It can deceive, it can seduce, it can offer shortcuts, but it can never take away the free will that I myself gave you. You will always have the option to choose truth, to choose light, to choose me. And this is what I want you to understand today. No matter how many times you have fallen, no matter how many times you have been deceived by the enemy's lies, today, now, in this very moment, you still have a choice. I am here calling you, inviting you to open your eyes and see reality as it truly is, because the battle that began in Eden has never ceased. The enemy is still prowling, seeking to devour those who do not perceive his presence. He does not appear as you imagine him. He does not reveal himself in a terrifying or obvious way. He wears masks, hides in opportunities that seem too easy, in promises that shine like gold but are in reality just sand slipping through your fingers. He disguises himself in momentary pleasures, in excuses that seem justifiable, in distractions that slowly draw you away from what is essential. He wants to trap you without you noticing. He wants to keep you away from me without you realizing it. He wants to ensnare you in his web of lies before you even understand that you are in danger. But I am the truth, and whoever is in me will never remain captive to illusion. I created you for something greater, to live a full life, free from the chains that the world tries to place upon you. You were not made for darkness, but for light. You were not made for doubt, but for certainty. You were not made for fear, but for peace. I am your refuge. I am the one who holds you when everything around you seems to collapse. And that is why today I come to remind you, you will always have a choice. Look at how the world has tried to corrupt what I established. Truth has been distorted to the point that many no longer recognize it. What was once sacred is now ridiculed. What was once valuable is now treated as worthless. But you must know, my child, that the world cannot change what I have established. My principles are eternal. My word is unchanging, and truth will always remain truth, even if everyone around insists on denying it. The enemy wants to convince you that there are no consequences, that you can choose whatever you want without it affecting the course of your life. But that is the greatest lie he tells. Every choice bears fruit. Every decision places a path before you. If you sow good, you will reap good. If you follow truth, you will find life. But if you choose deception, sooner or later, you will see that it never could give you what it promised. My child, my heart aches when I see so many of my children drifting away without realizing it. I see those who are lost in pride, believing they can build their lives without me. I see those who are lost in the endless pursuit of pleasure, not realizing that nothing in this world can fill the emptiness that only I can fill. I see those who are led astray by the serpent's voice, believing that sin is nothing more than a personal choice without real consequences. But I tell you, every choice that takes you away from me also takes you away from true life. I do not say this to condemn you, but to awaken you. My love for you does not change. Even if you have chosen wrongly many times, even if you have fallen, even if you have strayed, I am still here. I still call your name. I still offer you a way back, because I am a father, and a father never abandons his beloved child. But listen, because this is important, the choice will always be yours. I will never force anyone to follow me. I will never force a heart to love me. I give freedom because true love can only flourish where there is freedom. You can choose to ignore me. You can choose to follow your own path. You can even choose to doubt my words. But one thing will never change. I will always be waiting for the moment you decide to look at me again. So today I ask you, what will you choose? Will you continue listening to the voices of the world, convincing you that there is no harm in straying from me? Or will you choose to open your eyes, see the truth, and walk in the light I offer you? If you choose me, I do not promise a life without challenges, because the narrow path has never been the easiest. But I promise you this, you will never be alone. I promise that every tear will be wiped away, every wound will be healed, every step will be upheld by my hands. I promise that what the enemy tried to steal, I can restore. I promise that the life I have for you is infinitely greater than any empty promise the world can offer. So, my beloved, today is the day of decision. Do not wait until it is too late. Do not postpone what must be done now. Choose truth, choose light, choose me, because I have already chosen you before the foundation of the world. My child, I see the weight you carry, the burdens that press upon your heart, the silent struggles that no one else seems to notice. I see them all. You have wondered if anyone truly understands the depths of your pain, if anyone sees the battles that rage within you. Let me tell you, I do. I know every unspoken fear, every hidden doubt, every moment of exhaustion when you feel like giving up. And I want you to bring them to me, not as a ritual, not as an obligation, but as a child who trusts in their father's embrace. You do not have to fight alone. The enemy wants you isolated, believing that no one would understand, that you must bear your struggles in silence. But isolation is his trap. It weakens your heart and makes you more vulnerable to his lies. Do not fall into it. Come to me, and I will strengthen you. Surround yourself with those who walk in my truth, those who will remind you of who you are when you forget. The enemy works in darkness, but when you step into my light, his grip begins to break. Look at how the world defines strength, and then look at how I do. The world teaches you to harden your heart, to rely only on yourself, to prove your worth through power, success, and control. But that is not true strength. True strength is found in surrender, when you stop striving in your own power and lean into mine. The strongest are not those who never fall, but those who rise again with my help, those who acknowledge their need for me and trust that my grace is sufficient, even in their weakness. And about your past, do not let it chain you. The enemy will remind you of every mistake, every failure, every regret, trying to convince you that you are beyond redemption. But I tell you, there is no sin too great that my love cannot cover. I am not like the world, which defines you by your worst moments. I see who you were created to be, and I do not discard those who fall. I restore them. If you bring me your brokenness, I will make something beautiful out of it. But restoration requires honesty. Do not cover your wounds with excuses. Do not numb your conscience with justifications. Sin is not something to manage, it is something to be cleansed from. The enemy wants you to believe that a little compromise is harmless, but every seed of deception grows into chains if left unchecked. If there is something in your life that you know is not of me, do not hold on to it. Cut it off before it takes root. My discipline is not meant to destroy you, it is meant to set you free. The choices you make in secret are shaping your destiny. Many people wait for a great calling, a significant moment to determine their purpose, but they ignore the power of the small daily decisions. Every time you choose integrity when no one is watching, you strengthen your spirit. Every time you turn away from temptation, you silence the enemy's hold over you. What you feed grows. If you feed your flesh, your spirit will weaken. But if you walk in my ways, even in the unseen moments, you will be prepared for the greater things I have for you. Do not be deceived by how the world defines success. Many chase after wealth, influence, and recognition, thinking that these things will bring them fulfillment. But what profit is there in gaining the whole world if your soul is lost in the process? Those who build their lives on the shifting sands of human applause will find themselves empty when the storms come. But those who build on me, on my truth, will stand firm no matter what shakes the world around them. And yes, storms will come. Do not be surprised when trials arise, when hardships press against you. Following me does not mean avoiding struggles. It means overcoming them with me by your side. There will be moments when you will not understand, when the path I lead you on feels difficult, when your prayers seem unanswered. But trust that I do not waste your suffering. What the enemy intends for harm, I can turn into a testimony of my power. Do not let pain make you bitter. Let it refine you. Beware of distractions that steal your devotion. The enemy doesn't always attack with obvious evil. Sometimes he simply fills your life with things that keep you too busy, too exhausted, too numb to seek me. Not everything that is permissible is beneficial. Ask yourself, does this bring you closer to me, or is it slowly drawing you away? What you invest your time, your energy, your thoughts into, that is what will shape your heart. Guard it well. Be careful whom you allow to influence you. The voices you listen to will either strengthen your faith or erode it. Many speak words that sound wise, that seem full of knowledge and understanding, but not all wisdom comes from me. Some use smooth words to justify sin, to twist truth into something more convenient, to make compromise seem harmless. Test everything, hold it against my truth. Do not let culture define what is right. Let my voice be your standard. And do not wait for tomorrow to do what must be done today. The enemy's favorite lie is later. Later you will pray, later you will seek me, later you will let go of what is holding you back, but later never comes, it only drifts further and further away. Do not let procrastination steal what I have for you. Today is the day to return, today is the day to choose, today is the day to step into the fullness of what I created you for. Please subscribe to receive more of my truth and turn on notifications so you never miss what I have to say to you.